Welcome, nerds and nerdettes, to the Status Effect Podcast, a show where three friends gather every week to talk about games and other cool stuff. My name is Michael. To my right is Justin.
Hello, I'm Justin.
Hello.
Hi.
To my left is Zach.
I want my baby back, because she's over there.
She just smiled at that horrible
You know,
dad
I
joke.
always have hope every week that you're going to come up with something like at
Clever?
least a little clever.
No. That's not my
And
style.
every week you disappoint me.
That's not my style. So if you hear ooh and on, that's our live audience of one.
Yeah.
Tiny human.
So I have no clue what we're going to be talking about today. I don't think anybody does, really.
No. I mean, I want to talk about Harry Potter, but go into the first
Yeah,
section.
we're going to freestyle, but we're going to talk about that, right?
Freestyle.
So let's do it right now.
Yeah, nice.
Freestyle. All right, here, this is first segment.
There you go. My name is Zach, and I'm here to say I love video games in a major way.
Okay, that was good. I can't beat that. All right,
can
that
you
was
do
good.
it?
That was
Can you do
good.
it?
That was good.
All right.
Hey, I'm Michael, and
Don't try. You're going to ruin it. We need to
Michael.
move on. We need to
Okay,
move on before we kill
okay.
it.
Game of the week. Do it.
Huh?
Game of the week? We
Yeah,
can't do
we're
game
not
of the
I
doing
week.
don't
Game of the
have
Week?
one.
Yeah, we can't do Game of the Week this week. We're going right into our
Yeah,
main
I
topic. Let's
didn't
go.
either. Okay, so it's been leaked that there is a Harry Potter RPG coming out.
What is that? What is an
A
RPG?
role-playing game. What did I say? What did Chad say? No, it was real-time strategy. He said it was real-time sports or something.
Yeah,
Oh,
real-time
yeah,
sports.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's coming out. We don't have any kind of timetable is leaked. So
Has there been like footage?
yeah, there's video.
Okay, so this is real.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's video
ooh.
of the customization screen of like your character, and there's some. I only saw stills of it because I was looking at something else and they couldn't put the video up on the site or whatever for some reason. But it was like stills of you fighting with your wand and.
Fighting what exactly?
I think it was
People?
a humanoid in one of them, but I did hear somewhere that it was goblins and you fight goblins sometimes.
Oh my God, this
Okay.
game's gonna be awesome. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in already.
I'm going through.
I'm highly skeptical, dude. I don't know.
Now, let me just take a break for a second. So I'm listening to the audiobooks now because I actually wasn't allowed to read Harry Potter as a child because, witches
Lord.
and stuff. So I'm going through now
Jeez.
and listening to them on my commute to work and stuff. So I'm on the fourth book and I'm about halfway through, whatever. So
That's where it starts getting good.
yeah, it's getting pretty good.
That's like the
Now,
beginning of
the
the end.
guy who
opinion.
reads it is awesome. Like, he does a great job. Does a ton of voices and stuff. Props to him. I don't know. It's Audible's version, whatever. But they say a little bit, because he's British, they say some stuff different than, like, I've had in my head. So, Voldemort, they say Voldemort without the T.
What?
Really?
Yeah, and then
Interesting.
Gryffindor, they say Gryffindor.
I could not listen to that.
Yeah, I don't know.
It messes
would-
me up a little bit.
That would anger
Because I have
me.
seen some of the movies. I haven't seen all of them. But I watched a couple, and then I was like, well, you know what? I don't want to ruin any more of it for myself. I just want to get the books and, read. So, anyway, I'm a big fan of this right now, especially since I'm going through them. It's set in the was it the 80s or was it the
80s,
1800s? I can't remember. It's way before Dumbledore and all that. So it's got to be early 1980 because he's like a million years old. But it's set before that, so it's good from a writing standpoint because they have a blank slate to kind of build the world around. So you have Hogwarts that they can make more familiar to us. That we were kind of like latched onto that.
Well, I think that could be good or bad, right? Because
Yeah, I mean,
it
yeah, it
depends
could be bad.
entirely on how
it
it's
could be
written.
bad. Yeah, for sure. But I think I am more hopeful for a game like that than if we were going into the exact time setting as like Harry Potter, where
yeah,
Harry
for
Potter
Yeah,
sure,
is.
it's
for
been
sure.
played out way
Like,
too much.
if you can see Harry Potter in the halls, like, what up, Harry? Like, no, I don't.
They probably couldn't pay the actors enough to get them back even if they wanted them. So
I don't know, dude. I heard in a couple of years they're making some Harry Potter spinoff, and I saw Daniel Radcliffe on the cover.
well,
for it.
he'll
he's
probably
like
make
the
an
one
appearance or
doing the
something.
worst out of everyone. Like he would be the one to want to come back.
Really? No.
Yeah.
No.
Like he's
The other
what's
one's
Ron
not.
doing?
Okay, Emma Watson
well,
is.
Ron is Ron. Like
I
you
think
know?
it goes Emma Watson, Daniel Radcliffe, and whoever the fuck plays Ron.
I think it goes Emma Watson. Then nobody else
Rupert
matters.
Grint.
Basically.
Okay,
Get 'em
sorry.
right. Us strangers have to stick together.
Yeah.
But I'm hopeful for this game, actually.
Yeah,
I
I
like
think
Harry
it'd be
Potter a
interesting.
lot.
Yeah.
I'm curious what it will actually be like. There have been other Harry Potter games in the past.
Those stuck
And
pretty
they-
much to
they
the
kind
books, though, right?
Right,
Yeah.
and they kind of struggle to make the gameplay stand out in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
You know, it
Well,
tends to
what are
be-
you gonna like? Didn't they go off of like the first and second book or something? Like, what are you gonna do?
I
Fight?
think they did that with several of the books. I'm not sure how
Yeah.
much they got up to.
There's
but
not enough like action,
Right, exactly.
To be warranted for a game.
But it's like.
But I remember Harry Potter 2. I almost called it Spider-Man 2 again.
Man,
I wish it was that game.
There was a lot of cool stuff that they did with the world. Like, it was kind of semi-open world.
That's my favorite part about Harry Potter anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that could be cool, like exploring the castle.
Yeah, exploring the castle. There's a bunch of paintings that you could walk up to, and if you knew, like, the secret passage, they would open to have, like, a hidden...
That's cool.
A
lot of cool stuff they could do.
And you could go into the Forbidden Forest, and there's a lot of mystery involved in that.
What I like about it is, you can kind of fit a bunch of those RPG elements very seamlessly into Hogwarts, like the castle.
Yeah.
So like, it's like a secret room doesn't feel out of place in Hogwarts, though it might in like a tavern in some random place,
I just hope there's like a lot of depth with like spell choices.
Yeah. Well, I saw on one of the pictures it had like 5 different spells. One of them was the one, like Stupefy was one of them, and it looked like you were able to like...
Probably Expelliarmus.
Yeah.
That's my problem with it is... Michael, you mentioned earlier before the show that Harry Potter 2 kind of felt like a Zelda game where you have an item. And I think one of the problems with Zelda, when you get those dungeon items like a hookshot or something, they tend to only have one ultra-specific use. They aren't very flexible. It feels like you just got a key that you have to like equip and then press a button on. And if you look at the way spells are designed in the books, that's kind of how they work. You have one spell that does one ultra specific thing, and that's all it does.
Kind of pins itself into
that's
corner.
not super interesting. Like, that doesn't really lend itself.
Well, I imagine
to
it's going to
interesting
have
gameplay.
a lot to do with, like, say you're in like a combat scenario with
like
somebody.
counters and stuff.
You have like 4 basic spells that you can use, like Flipendo, which is like the attack spell, Expelliarmus, which is like
Are you making these up?
No, I know Expelliarmus. I've heard that one. I haven't heard
that one's
Flipendo
real.
yet.
Yeah,
like Wingardium Leviosa to lift
that
somebody
one,
up.
I've heard that one.
Like,
that could be
Stupefy is
cool.
one.
Into a wall, Stupefy to stun somebody, like almost like I feel like they would have different combat mechanics, almost like different spells.
If they actually did
like
that,
Would it work?
Cool.
Would it work like you think? Maybe it also depends on what they're casting as well.
That would be cool.
Like that, like
So
almost
like
like a rock paper scissors of
be kinda
sorts.
cool.
Not quite so. Hopefully not as rudimentary as that. But
there was a Ghostbusters game that you actually had to like suck the ghosts in or whatever, and you weren't supposed to cross the streams. Maybe they could do it like that, where if your spells collide, they explode
That
or
would be
something.
well, that happens in the books, right?
Yeah, I think
a-
so.
yeah.
Sometimes, anyway.
Yeah.
And
That's
there's
really
like so much material to work with. Like you could have like an invisibility cloak that you can equip.
Oh
That
yeah,
would be
sure.
cool.
Like, it
Like-
has huge potential. I'm just afraid that they aren't going to realize it. I'm afraid it's
hope
going to
they
feel like
do.
you're playing like Star Wars Battlefront in third person,
Oh.
just like shooting lasers while you strafe side to side, and that's all the game is. Like,
Gross.
it could easily be that if they
Man,
screw it
It
up.
could be, but the fact that they're saying it's like an RPG,
Yeah, but
like they're
If they're saying it was an MMO, then I'd be like, nah.
Oh yeah,
Probably
no,
out.
definitely not.
or just like a standard action game or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. But if they take the time to do it right, because that's what I've always said about the book so far. Anyway, is like the characters are like
Yeah.
they're a little too black and white for me personally. But it's probably just because like I got beaten in my head that you're not supposed to do that.
And it also gets better as the books go
Well,
along.
I mean, it
I
grows.
don't agree with that at all.
It
honestly.
grows. I mean, I can tell that like the writing style is meant at the first book to be for younger, and
Yeah.
it gets
Right.
better. That was
That's done really well,
good. Yeah, I
for
thought that was
sure.
cool. But my favorite part of all of it is the world building, because that's what I'm very interested in seeing how this world exists beside like parallel to our own. And that's what is most interesting to me. So I think a game set in the world without the characters that I don't super love,
Yeah.
then
It's got potential.
And that's
Yeah.
another thing is going into it knowing absolutely nothing, I would expect this game to be set entirely in the school and you never
Probably.
leave it. Hopefully they don't do
I imagine
that.
they
because I
probably
think that
have
would be
like
interesting.
grounds outside.
it would be
of
like
the school.
sure, but,
Hogsmeade
like-
maybe, and like the
See,
Forbidden
even that would be
Forest.
really
Yeah.
nice. That'd be
Yeah.
more than I would expect.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because that's not something you get the sense in the books that when you go to a place like Hogsmeade or the alley, that in the book you're only seeing like a tiny fraction of what is actually there.
Yeah.
And if you're making a game where people actually get to choose what they're doing, maybe we could
You have a
see
bunch
what
like
that's
she
actually
left
like.
so much
Yeah.
just out there, so you could easily not like encroach on what the books say and just
Yep.
fill out the like blank spaces that we have. I think
It's
would be
kind of like
really
what
cool.
Star Wars did with the
Tried
books.
to do.
Tried to.
Yeah, and see, that's another thing.
Yeah.
When you're doing like a prequel,
It's hard.
Yeah.
Let's show little baby Albus.
Yeah.
Oh God, no, please.
Oh God. I just hope they have Quidditch. That's all I want.
Oh,
really.
dude, I didn't even think about that. That would be
Quidditch is
cool.
a bad game.
No,
I've
Quidditch-
gone on
Okay,
giant
it is.
rants
It is
about
a bad game.
It's a badly designed
Conceptually, the fact that whoever catches a snitch almost always wins, almost always. But I don't like that part. But I think it'd be cool as a mini game. Like you could go and play some.
Regardless of like the logistics of the game itself, it still is a fun game.
Yeah,
like, I remember on PS2 there was a Quidditch game.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I think that's
Quidditch World
real,
Cup.
Right?
Really?
Yeah, standalone, right?
The hell out of that
It
game.
was standalone?
Dude. Yep, it was just like you could pick whichever country
Can
you wanted.
Can you imagine with like the technology we have now though? Like you could, with the flying mechanics and stuff, you could make that fun.
You could make that really cool.
Game. Imagine if you could pick what spots you wanted to play to.
Well, you'd always play secret because that's the only role that matters at all.
No, I think beaters do a good job.
No, they don't matter. They just don't matter. Unless you can kill the seeker, like literally kill him, you don't matter.
Well, I mean, in the
I don't know, man.
In the PS2 game, they made it extremely hard to catch a snitch. Like you're probably never gonna catch it.
Doesn't the game not end?
It doesn't end until the snitch is caught. Yeah, that's
why
the World Cup. The World Cup lasted one time for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, weeks because they couldn't catch it.
But see, that is thrilling. You know what I
No,
mean?
it's not.
Well, at a certain level, it is.
Is it thrilling or is it just
you're sitting there
writing?
watching a guy like squinting, looking for a little golden thing,
yeah.
and then even if you're up by like 200 points from quaffles, you just sit and wait until you catch back up.
Well,
and then
it's So we just actually at the beginning of this book, the Victor Crumb caught the snitch, but they lost.
Yeah.
Still.
That's why did you catch it?
I mean, well, because it was a pride thing or something. Like
that's just you're not playing to win, man.
Yeah.
You're
but
playing
anyway,
to lose. It's stupid.
But I think that is pretty dumb. Like that was one of the only instances ever like that I've seen so far where they've caught the snitch and didn't automatically win because 100. It's what, like 10 points if you score a goal and 150 points if you get the snitch.
Just silly, dude.
Like that is nuts.
But that's fine. What I want to see is some of that defense against the dark arts, some of that dueling stuff. There wasn't nearly enough of that in the books.
I want to see a lot of dark stuff.
I was about to say I hope that maybe
there's like choices you can be a Slytherin dude. If I have to be a Gryffindor, I'm out.
Yeah, if you have to be one,
I'm instantly done.
Who are
Slytherin?
What are you?
Slytherin all the way, dude.
Or Ravenclaw
You're
or something.
No,
you're totally Ravenclaw.
I'm definitely not a Gryffindor. I can tell you that.
I'm definitely
right
not Gryffindor.
I was gonna say you're either Ravenclaw or Gryffindor.
I don't know, man.
I think you're a Gryffindor,
I take
Zach,
Ravenclaw.
honestly.
What am I? 1, 2, 3.
Hufflepuff, obviously.
yeah.
I knew it.
Dang it, man.
We don't have any other news.
Cricket.
There's no cricket today.
There was that CD Projekt Red thing, but I don't think that's interesting, really.
No, that's not worth talking about.
We can just keep talking about Harry Potter.
We could. That's fine with me.
That's
honestly fine with me.
So, Harry Potter, insert wand phallic joke.
Yes.
I couldn't think.
I don't know what the word
when you
means.
wave it makes spark.
There you go.
If that's not a sexual thing, I don't know what is.
I was trying to think of this whole time.
Is somebody gonna tell me what phallic is?
It means.
I'm not an English
major. It
major.
means wiener.
It means wiener.
In Latin or
Basically.
something.
Fellatio?
Well,
is that
no, that's
no.
different. That's a different thing.
That's a different.
I don't think phallic
different.
actually equals penis. I think it's the shape.
Flaccid, phallic, fellatio.
I think that's where the idea of the shape comes from, though. I think it's probably actually Greek, like the little satyrs.
Anyway, Harry Potter
sounds
wand attack.
Yes.
Yeah. Nice.
Avada Kedavra.
Yeah. So anyway,
Do
Harry
you
Potter.
think that will be at the end of like the evil skill tree?
Yeah, of course.
Dude,
Of course.
I would pay so much if they would actually split it to where you could choose
That'd be so sick.
that between like
And
the
you could get
dark
like the
arts
mind
and
control
stuff.
curse.
Yeah, dude.
And like mess with NPCs.
And dude.
That'd be sick nasty.
But then you'd have to deal with the consequences of that. Like that would be awesome.
That
They're
would be
not.
cool.
They're definitely not going to do that for
I wish
sure.
they would.
But that would
That'd
be
be
sweet.
so nice.
You could
Have a little faith.
you have like a percentage of like if you're going too far, dark.
How would you do skills? How would you guys do skills in this game? Would you have to like go to the class and that gives you skill points or whatever?
I think you
or,
have
like,
to incorporate classes somehow.
Yeah.
And
How
I
do you
think
do
that's
that
They're
without
gonna.
making it boring,
You gotta
though?
like.
You
go
could do
through
like
those,
a
right?
persona. You
Yeah.
guys ever played that?
Oh,
where you have to like go
no.
through the day-to-day grind of being a kid.
That would be sick.
I've heard of that game, but I never
You
played.
could do
Like-
something like that.
Like during the day, you go to class and do stuff, and then at night
you get up to
sneak out
shenanigans. Yeah.
and you go into the Forbidden Forest.
Well,
and
I'm
like,
sure that's
okay.
part of it, right? Because that's
That'd be
if
cool.
you're going like Harry Potter-esque, which
Yeah.
they're gonna have to, right?
They want to.
Yeah, they want to.
Yeah.
Then your whole character would be, go to class and then sneak out at night and stuff.
That would be so cool.
That would be really cool.
That
Do
would
you
be
know in the Lord do they have the little map thing yet?
No,
Has
they
that
wouldn't.
happened?
No, it wouldn't because Harry's dad made
Yeah,
it.
his dad
Harry's
made
dad.
it.
Okay,
so
so that was
yeah,
only
they
one
definitely
generation
wouldn't.
before.
I think
Okay.
that's fine though, right? You don't really want to have the map. You want people to have to explore the castle and figure it
Yeah,
out on their
true.
own.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder what I just hope they let you kind of have more freedom than I think they're going to.
You know what I
You know
want?
what I mean?
Yeah.
Collectible Birdie Bots every flavored beans.
Nice.
That's extremely specific.
That is.
You do love collecting useless crap.
I do.
So.
Yeah, that
I
is
do.
true.
Or those little wizard cards that come with chocolate frogs or whatever.
Yeah,
Okay, that's a good idea. The little collectible trading cards. Yeah.
But you wouldn't get any of the references though.
That is true.
Like, because it wouldn't be Dumbledore. You know?
Yeah. I mean, they could.
I think that's one of the big
maybe.
risks of setting it so far back in the past is like
So
they're
you
gonna
miss
have
out
to
on
come up
some
with
of the
so
like
much,
gimmicky stuff.
because you know they want to do references like with the
Yeah.
Spider-Man game. You know
Yeah.
they have like references to the comics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you only really be able to do places
I mean, you kind of
if you set 100 years in
theoretically
the
like
future, or
They're
past.
gonna have baby Dumbledore.
in the wizarding world, time is fluid. You know,
that true?
you never really know.
No, you're not allowed to mess with time.
Except
But
for that
they
one
do.
book where you mess with
Except
time
that
the
one
entire
where
book.
Hermione can because
The bad
she's
one.
because McGonagall says, "Oh yeah, you can." So the Ministry's like, "Yeah, sure."
And then
Let
the
a kid.
author realized it was a horrible idea, so she basically wrote it out of the story.
That was so stupid. Like when she said, "I have this thing that travel through time," I was like, "Okay, cool." And then she said, "McGonagall gave it to me," and I was like, "No way." It's like, what are you talking about? And then she was like, "Oh yeah, it's fine. The Ministry said I could have it because I promised I'm not gonna use it for nefarious purposes."
To me, it was just all the time paradoxes. I remember I read through it one summer when my internet was out. I was just
Yeah.
like, none of this makes sense. This is so stupid.
Well, explain why it doesn't make sense because I don't really understand.
Okay,
So,
there's points in time
right.
where, for example, Harry gets saved by a Patronus. Did I
Yeah.
pronounce that
Yep.
right?
Patronus
'Cause I've never
bought
seen the movies.
from
Yeah.
himself.
But he thought it was his dad.
'Cause it looked like
He's
Right,
oh
but
my
it
goodness.
was Harry's in the
turns out
past
it was
or whatever.
Harry
Or
from the future, in the
Coming back
past,
to save him.
coming
Makes
back.
sense.
No, there's two Harrys existing at the same time. That's a time paradox.
No, only if they interact physically.
They did
Yeah.
interact.
No, the
No,
Patronus
it's
interacted.
like him shooting a gun at him. He
Yeah.
didn't actually like.
physically.
You guys
interact
don't
with it.
like. Nobody actually knows how time travel works. You guys realize this, right? Like
Well, you
it's
don't
all-
either.
it's
So
all
like,
Yeah,
you're
I know.
saying
So
that
we
it
just
doesn't
argue this
work.
forever.
I'm saying
defeats your argument.
it's circular logic, right? Like Harry cannot be saved
No,
in order
I
to
get
be
what
there
you're
in the
saying.
future to save himself if he wasn't saved in the first place.
There
You know
had
what
to
I
be
mean?
an original one,
Right. There have to be
in
multiple
some
timelines
like
or something.
universe
It is a time
where
paradox.
he didn't save himself because then he wouldn't have known to save himself.
That just means that somebody.
But
It's a
he
really
already
common
did
thing in
save
fiction.
himself.
You can't.
See,
That's not how
what-
time works.
But that's
That's how
what-
time works. It's already like it's a circle. It's a flat circle.
So now we've gotten into theory of time. here.
Yikes.
Welcome to the physics podcast, where we talk about physics stuff.
Crappy physics and
Yeah.
fiction.
Like we know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Justin thinks he does. But he
Justin's
doesn't really
probably
know
the
about
closest.
I'm just
but I
not
still don't
satisfied.
think.
I'm just. It's not a
You got
satisfactory
a degree
storyline.
in
It's the most
physics
important
we don't
thing.
know
it.
about.
No, but I dabble.
I dabble in
I
physics.
dabble.
The biggest
Dabble.
problem is that they introduce the thing, and it has all these ramifications on the rest of
And
the
then it's-
story, and then
yeah.
they just get rid of
It's
it
gone.
because they
Because it's
realized it
terrible
was a bad
writing,
idea.
yeah.
They
Yeah.
knew it was bad writing, so they
It's
got
not
rid
good.
of it.
I mean, that's the
proof
It's
in the
better
pudding
than
right
if they
there.
would have kept it and just kept trying to hammer stuff.
It never should have been there in the first place, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a children's book.
I mean, you
Shut
can say that
your
about
whore
literally
mouth.
anything.
Yeah, well, no, I'm just kidding.
I feel like the first 3 are children's books.
Yeah,
and
it
after
was
that, they
tough.
kind
It was
of,
tough to get through, honestly. Like at some points,
Yeah.
the first 2, I was just like,
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I feel like the 7th, especially by the time they get to that one, it's just dragging on so much. Like they just,
I
it's just
really,
filler, it feels
really
like.
like the 7th one.
don't
I
spoil
I
it.
enjoyed
could not
it a
I haven't
lot.
seen those
stand it.
movies and I
That was
haven't read
terrible.
those,
Are you
those
serious?
books yet. No.
Oh.
So tune in next week for our Harry Potter
Yeah.
podcast.
Oh yes, maybe we should do a Harry Potter podcast. Apparently, that's still really
I
popular.
like the
you know?
alliteration too.
Yeah.
Harry Potter podcast.
podcast.
Harry
Might be
Potter-
hard
Harry
for me to
Potter
say. I don't know if we
podcast
can do
put
that.
out every
Phallic
Thursday.
fellatio.
Ugh.
Probably already exists, right?
Phallic
Ruined it.
flaccid fellatio.
Phallic, flaccid, fellatio.
How much of the original Harry Potter story do you think they're gonna copy? Like, is there gonna be like a Voldemort
What do you mean,
analog?
just like beat for beat?
Yeah, like your character has some kind of marking or scar from the person that tried to kill them. Like
I imagine they're probably not going to use any of it. I hope they don't.
It just seems really dumb to do so.
you can't,
Yeah.
right?
I
But-
think there's definitely going to be like a dark villain probably.
Yeah.
Now let me pitch this out to you.
Mm-hmm.
Is this gonna who is this gonna be intended for? Because that means a lot.
It basically you have to target millennials, right? The people that
Yeah.
grew up with it, not the
Right.
people who would
That-
read it now.
but
the series itself
yeah.
is
I
like
don't
15
put
years
past
old.
people to, I don't want this to be rated. I don't know. What do I want it rated?
Whatever the books are, right? You don't
It'll
want to make
probably
it.
be T.
Yeah, you don't want to
Yeah.
make it more mature than the
I kind
original
of do though.
work was. Well, I mean, you,
I want God of
what I
War
mean is you
sex scene where
can't.
I can,
no, you can't do that, man.
just can't even imagine
You can't do
what
that.
it would be like in that world. Whew, man, that'd be rough.
I
There'll
don't
be
even
certain
want to think
arousal
about it.
spells that you can cast on people.
Like a love potion.
Like, all right, we could bleep this whole sentence
Maybe-
out. I just imagined somebody casting a spell on a chick and just like a waterfall coming out of her skirt.
Oh my god!
I'm trying to think of a punny like spell to like get someone hard, but I can't think.
Hard as a rockacus or something.
Bonafide.
Yeah, there you go. That's probably a real spell.
Yeah, probably.
That would be so good. Just be sitting in class and be like,
Bonafide. That's weird. Adolescence was just like that anyway, though.
It wasn't. Didn't you read a series that was like that, like Harry Potter for like horny young teens?
What?
The magicians or something?
Oh no, yeah. It was actually kind of like that.
Yeah, see?
Yeah. It was. The Magicians is like a emo version of fantasy,
okay.
but like mature, so they have sex and stuff.
Oh, nice, dude.
It was not. It's not my cup of tea. I thought it was gonna be like edgy and cool.
Right.
Emphasis on the edgy.
Oh my
You know what
god.
I mean? No. But like, I was literally just looking up great fantasy audiobooks because I was running out of stuff.
Right.
And it was one of the top recommendations saying like this bends the genre and bends other things. If you know what I mean. But yeah, they did some cool stuff with like magic and the characters are definitely more real.
Yeah.
Like because they struggle with real things. It wasn't so much you have to be good or be bad.
Harry Potter, he struggles with his Jesus complex a little bit. You know?
A little bit.
Like,
yeah, he's got to save
And
everyone.
he struggles with his relationships with Cho and with
It made me so
Hermione
mad
and
when he sat at that bottom of the stupid lake and waited for everyone to get saved. Oh man, I was yelling at him.
I mean, he's a dumb person. That's the truth. He is a dumb.
He is not a
person.
smart individual.
No, he's not.
No,
It's
just
not
his
super
strong
lucky.
suit.
I
though.
see the author too much through him. Like there's a thing in a lot of my classes where you're not supposed to ever, when you glimpse the author through the work, it's bad. And I see her like so much because he's stuck in that Jesus, like I must save everyone thing. I know exactly what he's going to do every time he gets in a situation. When he came up to there and the four people were tied to the stone and no one else was there, I was like, well, he's going to sit there. He's going to sit there until everyone is saved because that's exactly what Harry Potter is. So when he's going through those like quandaries, they don't even feel real to me. You know?
I agree with you. I totally agree. I actually did a paper in English, an English class one time, and I was doing some research about it.
You took an English class?
Yeah, I had to. Unfortunately, engineers even have to take English. Can you believe that?
Oh.
But it was I did some research about Harry Potter because I was arguing with my girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
That Harry Potter was terrible, and she didn't believe me, right? So
well, I wouldn't say it's terrible, but it's flawed.
Yeah. You know how I am. I hyperbole a lot.
Yeah.
But there was a research, like a super professional paper written about comparing Harry Potter to Jesus. You know, he has the resurrection and everything. And that's a spoiler.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
But you already know it's going to happen, right?
Because
you just compared him to Jesus.
All right, no more spoilers.
But yeah, so like, it's just super blatant, you know?
Yeah.
It's like written by a Christian woman.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of like
it's like really heavy-handed stuff too.
Interesting. I never really noticed that.
Oh yeah. And like Zach's saying, the character writes itself, you know? You know exactly what he's going to do. He never like you're talking about, he has problems with other characters, right? But all those things are inconsequential really in the grand scheme of things. Like
it helps humanize him a little bit when he likes a girl and whatever.
And I think those are like the best parts of his character, but when it comes time to, make some sort of decision
or winning the Quidditch Cup, stuff like that doesn't affect his character itself, but it's just like as a person he wants to win, sports thing. I got really tied up in when he was when Gryffindor was trying to win. You know what I mean? And that game was very intense. Like I really enjoyed that specific part of it because I felt like he was a real person.
Yeah, it humanizes.
Yeah, and I didn't know what she was gonna do because it's not. He doesn't die if he loses the Quidditch Cup. So part of me was like, is she just gonna kind of throw?
I think a perfect example of that is later on, Ron actually becomes useful at Quidditch, and as soon as that happens, like the importance of Quidditch is gone now. And the spotlight stays on Harry all the time. Yeah. Like Harry doesn't even care anymore once Ron's good. He's just like he's maybe a little jealous, but he doesn't care anymore. And
poor Ron,
and obviously
dude.
you don't either
guy,
now as a reader. Yeah,
man.
it's just cheap.
I feel so bad.
It's
for
just
Ron.
cheap.
He just gets the shit into the stick.
He really does.
Every corner.
And he seems like a decent person. It's just like he's living as Harry Potter's support character.
He's
like
he
his
is
life
carrying his veil, or
Yeah.
whatever, the train. That's basically all he's doing. The whole book is just, here I am, Harry. What you want? Oh, I'm here now.
It's sad,
Let me do this thing for you and help. I saved your life. But
now there is a certain point. I don't remember which book it was in where he starts to resent Harry because of that, right?
Well,
That's
he got jealous in this book because he thought he put his name in the goblet. And
like, can you blame Ron?
I would be out.
Like,
dude.
can you imagine living in a world where your best friend is the actual protagonist of existence? and the world is happening that way. Like every good thing.
Literally, the world.
He is the center of the
around
universe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just have to sit there and take it. Like you just play second fiddle to this
I would just
idiot.
be like, dude, we can't hang out anymore, man.
Yeah. Like I'd get fed up with it. Who wouldn't?
Well, this has been our Harry Potter show, where we started to talk about the Harry Potter game and then just started talking about Harry Potter. So I'm sure you enjoyed it. I mean, it's all good.
It was fun.
But come back next week. Maybe we'll talk about some other pop culture thing and make you mad too.
I hope we succeeded in pissing somebody off.
Oh, we did.
Finger guns. I'm gonna do this every week.
Expelliarmus! You drop your guns and I kill you.
Bonafide.